to the parliamentary politics, the first retreat. But those which come subsequently, they come with particular agendas. You remember that one of Anita? Yes, it was just in the middle, a couple of days. Then there is another one which the General Muntu attended, the Matembes, when they had... were you there?
No, I was not there.
You weren't there that
2003?
time. 2003.
Yes.
When they were going to open up term limits and so on. That was in the middle. This particular one, I think, first of all parties should have it, in my view. All political parties. Because you see, somebody has been elected from Atuturi. Atuturi is in Teso. And another one from Kavari. They came to Parliament, they were elected on very different platforms and agendas and promises. And that is where you have in the House, somebody stands up and is talking about a pit latrine at a sub-county. Then the other is talking about the collecting white ants and so on of their people. Very disorganized.
Actually, that's one of the spectacles that we saw this time. There is an MP who was crying that she's an orphan, and they want to drag her to Parliament to kick her out.
Very unfortunate, very unfortunate. I don't know whether that was a by the way, but if that is what they are going through, I think they have just goofed. They have just missed the point. Because they should be really talking about the NRM legislative agenda.
Okay, if I go to the question of the night, does Chankwan set the tone for Parliament?
It should. Whether it does is a different question, a different matter. But it should, because they're the majority anyway. Now, I can see everything coming out is about the DP president there and his agenda. What has he going to do? And what he's tweeting is not about the agenda, the legislative agenda and so on. It is about the business which has taken him there and a little bit of kitchen sink quarrels. So to me, that's the unfortunate part of our politics.
Thank you.
Because one, as I go off the mic, to us we should be looking at what is the NRM legislative agenda. That's what we should be looking at. That's what we should be reading. Because now this is day 3. And they don't have 2 weeks. And from what Mr. Honorable Dombo is saying, they have even brought it forward. So we should now, the country should be saying, this is the party in power. What do they have for us as a country? Not what we are reading.
Honorable Agnes, on the face of it, it sounds rosy that the NRM is inducting their legislators onto the legislative agenda, governance issues, and party cohesion. Does it appear as it is posted? You've at least been to Chankwanzi.
Yes, and I want to start from there, that in 2021 I was privileged to attend the retreat. And my experience is a bit different from what I read and what I'm seeing. One of the things I saw in 2021 is a discipline. The retreat, one of the things that it really ensures that members are disciplined. If you see the way of the dressing, and if you go there, there is no minister, those VPs, and everybody is at the same level. So for me, retreat, like any other retreats, should be seen in that context, that members are coming to accept that we are leaders of the party that has a strategic agenda. The second experience that is there, and that should be the case, and that's what I hope it is really happening in Chankwanzi now, is that the party chairman, and yesterday all of us really listened in and attended to his address, he uses this platform usually to set a strategic direction. He will bring, and in this particular case, we all saw how he's talking about growth of the country, how he's bringing in the political economy kind of aspect, how he's talking about every Ugandan coming into the money economy. For me, that is a strategic direction that retreats like this ought to give. And in my opinion, what I heard yesterday, he is giving us his strategic direction as the president, but also as the chair of the party.
Ordinarily, a retreat like this would elicit a debate of some sort. an exchange where someone comes in, brings in an idea? Is it more of a listening session?
I don't think so, because I don't know the structure of the retreat this term, but in the 2021 where I attended, those papers are presented and members are allowed to make submissions and discuss. Personally, I presented a paper in the last retreat on fiscal decentralization and the budgeting framework. At that time, there was this program-based budgeting that was being introduced, and very many people, even the old MPs, the new ones, people did not understand what it was. And after the presentation of that paper, very many members of parliament stood up and gave their submission, and there was a discussion, and that was ended. So I really want us to be optimistic. Like any other retreats, I'm sure even in NBS here, you usually have retreats. Retreats are basically for three reasons: strategy, cohesion, and the aspect of ideology. And you know very well that my colleague has just said that during the election, the parties presented their manifestos. But the reality on ground during that campaign, everybody's talking about their own things. And so this is an opportunity for all these NRM members and those who subscribe to the party to understand what is it about this party.
Do you baffle at the public perception? Because what we normally get, what is covered in these retreats, the first, there was Elioda complaining we don't have condoms. The other, there was scrambling for rooms. Now there is the Namuganza, they have denied me a uniform, they didn't want to let me in. I mean, these are things that are dominating the conversation.
Simon, I think as a country, we need to get back and start analyzing the kind of information we consume and allows it to drive our narrative. I think we are living in an environment of misinformation, polarization, that they leave everything that is happening and they concentrate on that. Yes, those are gaps, but we should look at a bigger picture. Because even if condoms were asked for, uniforms were not given, the issue is NRM is going to be the government in power. We can talk about all this. The only thing we need to be doing at the moment, can we focus on the issues and allow this other, for me, I look at them as things that really are distracting us from the real issues. I would love to be in an environment where we are actually holding the NRM party accountable, that you gave us a manifesto. You've told us about the tenfold growth, and you are talking to us about the four sectors that you want to invest in. How are we going to do that? So the country should be able to engage in such discussions. Every community, including your households, have issues. But must it really override the good of a particular activity?
Honorable Karuhanga, what do you read as the good, the bad, and the ugly of chimpanzee?
Well, I would imagine, and I'd thought, that after a serious, long interaction with the citizenry of this country in this previous election, that the ruling party, at this very point, would be focused on the issues, the challenges that they met while engaging with the people during campaigns.
Have they skipped them?
Well, we are yet to hear any that they have talked about. I mean, seriously, when you are in a very long, engaging process like we've been in as a campaign, you would want to imagine that right now you have majority members of members of parliament who are coming in, and so you would want to say, look, these young people, everyone has had cry out for employment across this country. That the young man in Arua or the young lady in Kisoro who has been hoping maybe finally some leaders will address this issue, having looked for a job for the last 3, 4, 5 years. That this last goat that has been sold in Moroto or in Itojo Hospital, simply because you want to keep a life of the loved one still survive for maybe a few more days. And maybe somebody is going to address the issue of national insurance as we hear in the neighboring countries. So those touchy issues, for a country like ours, you would want to appeal, and ordinarily you would want to hear leaders, especially if they form such a huge number, go down and say, look, what happened? How is it possible that we couldn't find 7 billion shillings to continue this new curriculum beyond O level? That for it to start in HSC, we couldn't find some 7 billion shillings. That's where our priorities.
Yeah,
so
the president has labored to speak to great detail about where he wants to see the country, how Uganda we should be going to the moon, and lots of other stuff. And this striking the right chord of the state of the nation.
You know, the ambition to go to the moon or space is a great ambition. Anybody today would want to support science. However, I mean, tell me, this young man every morning wakes up on a border with their degree in commerce, pick a shopkeeper, take their money from downtown in Chikubo to a bank, and has done it for 3-4 years. You would want to hear his or her leaders speak to this challenge. That yes, we have these ambitions, the big ambitions, but we care about these citizens. That these Ugandans are the very reason why we are here. That the reason we've had this chance to be in Chankwanzi or be in Parliament is because these Ugandans, these humble Ugandans, have chosen to say, maybe this time around could focus on the issues that really concern
So is
these
Chankwanzi a missed opportunity for the nation?
Man, it appears it's not yet done. We are still hoping that maybe some of these issues could be addressed. Otherwise, it will be indeed a missed opportunity. And maybe the fact that we are here discussing these issues, maybe this would be a reminder again that maybe when we get together again in the 12th Parliament, we could focus on the issues that really concern Ugandans.
Thank you. Honorable Tinka Simire, retreating and caucusing is a ritual. And in parliamentary practice, I think, like Honorable Katuntu says, it's a good thing. Do you get a sense that MPs who are in there are very keen on setting the agenda or understanding what is happening, or it's more to do with personal lobbying and other things?
You know, from my personal experience, I came to Parliament with the 10 years working experience, with the very good qualifications that understand the workings of Parliament, because I came when I was holding a Master's in Public Administration and Management. And anyone, by all standards, will understand that a person with that qualification really understands how Parliament works. I come with a lot of energy, thinking with my colleagues that we were going to make an impact. This was an opportunity for us to set what I normally refer to him as professor, because he's highly schooled in law and with a lot of experience. So for us who have been mentored by him when we came to the House, so we appreciate him and normally refer to him as professor. He says the retreats are normally the ideals of setting the agenda. I agree with him. That should be what should be there. But he raised a very critical issues. And I think we should not miss, even Honorable Dombo, when he's speaking, reading for us the topics they are discussing, he forgets that we are reading through what is going on. What is going on is what my professor here said. The issues of the speakership race, the issues of President Museveni gripping onto political power, the issues of his son succeeding him. Those are the ones now playing in there. Even issues of saying we want to know each other, they are irrelevant. Whereas they are critical for you as a new legislator to know the person from Karamoja or where. But the biggest thing is coming here. Do you understand why we are here? This is a government that has been here for 40 years. What has made it exist? If it was a serious agenda, as Honorable Dombo wants us to believe, serious to the convener, but serious to these people who are attending, like you are attending on behalf of your constituency. To raise issues, to raise things that would matter, to raise issues that focus at the NRM manifesto, and building that. If it was that would be perfect. But the convener is focusing at some point. That's why he will reach there, and even he knows the tradition. When they ask him a question about the decision of Central Executive to support the existing Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, he says, no, we will decide. But he also knows the NRM tradition that has been there, that is existing Speaker, if he has not served a second term, you should not hide as a chairperson about that. It is a tradition. He could not even speak it. He could not speak it. Now has
in the interest of cohesion.
He has put the people who are attending the NRM caucus, the NRM retreat, in that quagmire, where they are now asking, where is the president standing? In every meeting, now they must keep listening from his tent. Where is he standing? Then the liars will come and say, Mao. The others will come and say, Honorable Anita Mo. And that is the confusion. When they are sworn in, you are going to see a serious campaign. For me, I will not hide. I don't support Nobert Mao. I'm not a voter, but I don't support him.
Well, thank you.
But I know that my candidate is going to put up a spirited campaign. Of course, she may end up being bruised like my Right Honorable Kadaga, because President Museveni defeated us on the last night. We had defeated him, even when they chose that they are going with the Right Honorable Late Olanya. We had defeated him. He did not sleep, they defeated us. And I am likely to see that happening. But we pray that, Mr. President, these things of confusing Uganda, no.
Thank you. Honorable Katuntu, the president has addressed the leadership at Chankwanzi, I think on 3 occasions, two. He has made 2 addresses. Is his mind and vision clear on what the country should await during this term?
Okay, maybe I understand your question and I'll answer it, but let me put it differently. You see, when you have individual MPs who have been elected on different platforms and you bring them together, the entire country,
right?
There are 2, to me, documents which should be studied and see how you can harmonize. 1, in June, we are going to start a new financial year. Resources have been already allocated, and this current parliament is the one going to pass that budget. For a whole year, because they are going to be sworn in May, these new MPs, what is their input? 0. And a whole year, we are going to be running on a budget which they are not going to be party to it. By now, they should be discussing the next financial year's budget and see how they fit in the aspirations of their people. Because the whole year we are going to be running on that budget. Is it part of the agenda? Maybe not. 2, have they brought the party manifesto? And they see how they can harmonize their individual promises and undertakings to their own people in the national party manifesto. These are the critical issues, in my honest view, which should be now on table for discussion. Forget about these other issues there. Oh, you know, they have taken me to court. Oh, you know, it is this. Really.
Yeah, but why are peripheral issues taking center stage? Do you blame it on the organizers, or it was just deliberate?
Everybody.
That they focus on trivia?
Because now they should be saying, Mr. President, what is the budget? And the Secretariat of the National Resistance Movement should be introducing the national budget proposals to them. And between now and when we pass, how do they fit in? How do they appreciate it? Because they're going to waste a whole year on a budget which they have nothing to do with.
Okay. Does the president speak with clarity on where the country is going between now and 2031?
You should have listened to him. You should have listened to him. Actually, he is. And I expected the members of parliament to be discussing the issues he's raised.
What struck you?
I don't see it. First of all, there are 2-3 issues in my view. Economics. Because he talks about employment, he talks about wealth creation. Of course, he also talks about the agenda, the parliamentary agenda. Unfortunately, I don't see voices coming, making a contribution. Instead, they have gone to other issues. Maybe it is too early. We need to be judicious in the way we are criticizing them, because they have another 4 days, 5 days. I hope they address themselves to the issues which we saw the president raising. But even the Secretariat, the NRM, which organized this retreat, should have clearly set the agenda and the tone. And then the people who are coming as facilitators, they should. The issue about parliamentary procedure is very critical, because whatever they are going to do, those are the parameters. I don't know the expert who is coming to talk to them about parliamentary procedure and so on.
Would you be keen to go and speak to these new legislators at Chankwanzi? Or it has since been viewed as more of NRM retreat center?
I mean, to me, I look at it as a national duty. I have been chairperson of the Rules Committee for the last 5 years. I have sat on that committee for more than 15 years and so on. Those rules are, really, it is a comfort zone for me. I can speak to them at any time and so on, and to anybody who cares to listen. And to the members of parliament, the new ones, I'll be very, very glad to do that, whether in their caucuses or whether at parliament. I hope at the time when they are being enacted by the parliament itself, they'll have opportunity to get people like me, people like Ben Wacha, people like Wandera Ugalo, and many others. People like Erika Rohanga, people who started, and, the formalities of committees in parliament, in the 6th parliament and so on, to come and share the experiences. That is okay. So this could be a missed opportunity, in my view, if they don't, in the next few days, address themselves to the national budget, to their manifesto, and to the rules of parliament.
Honorable Pair, the country has just emerged from a very fierce election. Isn't it a surprise that NRM has put the election behind and they're discussing how the economy will look like? There are quite a number of NRMs who were bruised. Do you think it would be prudent to take stock of the just concluded election?
I think every retreat, as we have discussed here, and every other institution that cares or really wants to achieve a specific goal, it is always important to reflect on the previous meetings. Even in normal meetings, you normally read previous minutes. I think Honorable Dombo would be a better place to give us an in-depth understanding of what the program looks like. In the last retreat, I don't remember us discussing what happened in the elections. And for me, that would have been very critical. If I were to be in the retreat again, that before we even delve into the strategic direction and the ideology, it would be very important to allow members of parliament to you know, to tell their story, and maybe those stories can help reshape the next, you know, election, particularly for the party. So that is, again...
To vent or to correct?
Both, I think, for sure. Of course, you may not call it is already a spoiled milk for some of the members who maybe didn't make it, or even those who made it with a lot of bruises around, as my brother put it. So I think it's critical. And for the organizers, like the Secretariat, if that was not yet done, they still have an opportunity to really allow members of parliament to tell their story that can help the party to inform future retreats. I think it's critical. But what is more critical also to kind of add on what my colleagues have said, and reading or listening in to the president, I think in my view, if the retreat could be aligned to discuss some of those issues that has come. Because it's true that most of the new members of parliament, particularly the new members of parliament, some of them have not also read or understand the national, for example, the national development plan. And everything that the president was talking about is well laid down in that national development plan. Because in political economy, as a leader, political leader, you should be able to have a very good understanding of how you're going to use your political position to inform resource allocation, to inform equal opportunities for the people you represent, but also to inform your legislative agenda, because you are not going to make laws and policies in isolation of the resources.
But in reality, does NRM have a legislative agenda? Did you see it in 2021?
But if I really don't understand where we are coming from. Because all these laws that we have a whole lead of government business that comes every week to tell us what the government agenda is. And then the next week, you're seeing some of those things. All these laws that we make should inform the discussion at the onset. That for this 5-year term, this is what we are going to look at. And I think I remember in 2021, some of those things were really presented. I think, as my colleagues are saying, let's give the organizers time. And I guess that one of the things that the media is doing is to call us here and also try to input, if they can, to kind of revise the plan which they already have. And let's be optimistic.
I need to engage Honorable Dombo. Honorable, in real terms, does NRM have a legislative agenda for the 12th Parliament? And could you share with us some of the snippets in this agenda?
But, Bwana Kagwa, first of all, I'm disappointed by my brother, Tinka Simire, Honorable Tinka Simire, when he comes on TV to confess that for the 20 or so years that he has been in Parliament, if he feels the NRM has done nothing, because he has been a member of Parliament of NRM. And I don't know whether this is a confession and an acknowledgement that because of doing nothing, that is why the people of Buyaga perhaps replaced him. Because he knows what the NRM has been doing. Every year, the president comes up with the State of the Nation address. And after that one, he follows it with the national budget, clearly identifying the priorities of government and the areas on which government is going to spend money. Every subsequent year, the president comes out to give accountability, what was done in the previous year and what intends to be done in the future. Many of you are talking about a budget. Which budget would the new members of parliament be talking about? There is no budget yet. The budget is under construction by the Parliament of Uganda, which is fully constituted, because these members are not yet sworn in. Unsworn in members of parliament, these are members elect. The best thing they can do now is to know one another, induct them on how business is done. My brother Atutu is talking about bringing experts. Yes, there are many experts about these matters, but who is a better expert than the presiding officer on issues of the rules of procedure? We had a paper presented by the Right Honorable Anita Mong. We have a paper this morning presented by Honorable Tayebwa. We have a paper presented by Honorable Adolf Mwesige, who was in parliament for 20 years as a member of parliament, as a minister of government, as an advocate of the High Court, but now as the clerk to parliament. Is there any better person to talk about the etiquette and involving members of parliament who travel outside the country other than the PS, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is a former member of parliament himself? These are the people. We have issues of the economy right here. This is a copy of the manifesto of the NRM, and every member of parliament has been given this manifesto. And every member of parliament has been able to raise the issues that affect them in their own respective areas. We have syndicated meetings where the regional caucuses have been meeting tonight. They are going to meet tomorrow. They come up with the issues so that members of parliament who are doing the budget can capture some of these issues. I've already told you that the president has directed the Minister of Finance to scrap the taxation on raw materials, some of the raw materials which have been attracting taxation because of poor policies, which the president acknowledged that Minister of Finance had made a mistake. We are deliberating on many things that affect the people, but we don't want to take the members of parliament through a very long marathon without them appreciating how things are done. So, stay rest assured that what is in social media, that is the working of the press. The media has chosen to show what they have wanted to show. But the Monitor newspaper published the entire program as it is going to be run. We have also published on social media the same program. You listen to the president of Uganda and national chairman addressing the members. Some of these members entered the NRM yesterday. They don't know the historical mission of NRM. They don't know how NRM succeeded by 27 people going to the bush and overthrowing a government that had tanks, aircraft, and air force. How did they do it? And what is the hope and future of the country? So these are the things. You listened to the president yesterday talking about the ideology, talking about the philosophy, and talking about the strategy on how to diagnose the things that affect the society and what we must do to cure those processes. We are in the basics that start. Let the new members of parliament understand, appreciate how things are done, capture the rules of procedure. After they have been sworn in, the harder things will begin. Honorable Tinka Simile was misrepresenting the president. The president said on the issue of the speaker, the president is going to convene the appropriate organs of which I have responsibility to make a decision, and he will explain to them why the NRM SEC took a decision and what reasons they was underlying the decision that SEC took. The president acknowledged that, and he told it to the members of parliament and the members-elect who are present here. Last retreat, which was done here in Changwanzi, it only involved the new members of parliament because the old ones were busy with the budget. Right now, there has been an opportunity for the new ones and those ones who are continuing, who have been re-elected, to be combined together. This is a great opportunity because the entire NRM caucus has been fully constituted, including the independents. So, whatever you are talking about, we are discussing. But we cannot discuss everything because some of the business must be concluded by the current parliament so that the new members of parliament will be brought on board. But another. There are exceptions.
Honorable Dombo, you've shown us the manifesto. Where is the NRM legislative agenda? Well, we've lost him, but I hope we'll get him back.
Of that manifesto on Ugandans. And how they are going to raise that money?
We'll take a very short breather, and when we return, quite a number of questions will be posed, and of course, the discussion continues.
NBS Frontline.
As Uganda prepares for a defining moment, the nation turns its eyes to the presidential swearing-in ceremony this May 2026. NBS Television brings you unmatched coverage from the Kololo Independence Grounds with in-depth live broadcast that captures every moment as it unfolds. Organizations, development partners, MDAs, and elected leaders take part in this historic occasion. Share your congratulatory messages and connect with millions. Call now 0772 860028.
At Finns Medical University, we offer online postgraduate diploma in medical education, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery (MBCHB), Bachelor of Pharmacy, Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Technology, among others, Diploma in Clinical Medicine and Community Health, Diploma in Medical Laboratory Technology, among others, and certificate programs. Finns Medical University, a chartered medical university in East Africa and is located in Fort Portal. Apply now for the March or July-August intakes. Visit our offices or apply online on our website or contact us for details. Finns Medical University, saving lives, our passion.
The National Mosquito Net Distribution Campaign is back. No one should die of malaria in this era. It is your responsibility to chase malaria from your home. The good news is that the government of Uganda has once again started distribution of mosquito nets under the 5th Universal Coverage Campaign, also known as the Under the Net campaign. Under this exercise, 1 mosquito net will be distributed per 2 people in every household. A village health team member, a community health extension worker, also known as a CHU, and the LC1 chairperson will move house to house to register members of the household in preparation for receiving their mosquito nets. Do not lie back. Ensure that you register all your household members to receive a mosquito net. On the distribution date, move to your distribution point and receive your net. Mosquito nets protect you and your family members from infectious mosquito bites that lead to malaria. Ensure that you receive the net, hang the net, and sleep under the net every night.
I enjoy to look after myself by coming to Don's Organic Spa for massage, pedicure and manicure, facials, salon, like they have it all here. Sometimes I come with my girlfriends twice a week and I feel so refreshed, renewed. Like I'm just so happy that this place is full of life. It's full of life. That's all I can say.
NBS Frontline.
Yes, it's the Frontline as we continue making sense of the Chimpanzee NRM retreat. We are making a dive into the hits and misses. Could there be any big misses or big hits, and could it be setting the tone for the 12th Parliament? How business will roll out? Well, Honorable Dombo, I'm afraid I lost you along the way, but in a couple of minutes, where is NRM's legislative agenda?
But now he's putting on the cap, we can't see him properly. As he tells lies.
So much, Angela. The NRM legislative agenda, first and foremost, is given in the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. When the President opens up a session of Parliament, he gives the priorities of government which are going to form the basis and foundation for legislation. The biggest form of legislation is the national budget, including the tax bills, the appropriation bill, and any other bills that escort the budget.
Chimpanzee has issues with the network, but well, Honorable Tinka, for the time you were attending the retreats, especially at the induction of new MPs, did you ever discuss the party legislative agenda?
I told you my very first experience. I went with that energy and I knew this was something very serious. Little did I know that it was just, you see a dummy, eh? The Baganda call it gorogos, eh? Something which is controlled somewhere. And you are seeing a human being, but you believe it is a human being. But actually there is no human being in that thing. So, Honorable Dombo, respectfully, he should also acknowledge that I did not say that NRM has done nothing for the last 20 years. I've been in the House. The only point he's making is that I have left, and but I have not left politics. That one he should know. So even when I am here, I'm doing my part to say this is becoming an NRM, another, you have been added another term, and you want to see your manifesto being implemented. As you are calling our NRM MPs, are you discussing with them the cost of that manifesto? He was waiving it. The cost of that manifesto. He's saying they are calling regions. Are they going to add anything in that manifesto? Are they going to relate that manifesto? Will it be called anymore a manifesto or something else? Something else.
Aren't you judging them too early?
No. And the president has made it very clear that there is going to be a constitutional crisis if they will have an attempt to change, to change what he's proposed. I am even afraid that those taxes he's talking about, they may end up having their own way. You remember we had a tax, an unpopular tax on mobile money. We tried to fight it. It worked for 1 year, and later on they realized it would not work. Then they had to readjust it. I am afraid even what he's telling the Ugandans, that the president has said this is very bad, this is very bad. We know he talks for the public. Then when it comes to real things, he does other things.
Okay. In the 2021 orientation, the president hinted on close to what he said just the
Yes,
other day.
he said, I'm going to fight corruption.
No, he said, I can do away with that parliament. I remember he once said something close to that, didn't he?
But he has little choice because he also wants to be known as a Democrat. So he would want to see the operation of 3 arms of government, the legislature, where we sit as parliament. But his wish, he would not want to have parliament. That's why he's sitting there, such that he's having a puppet of a parliament. That, for me, it is my strong conviction that President Museveni is in Chankwanzi to build cohesion and coercion. For his grip on political power, and 2, for the other thing of succession. And that's why he's deeply interested in the speakership. That's why he can't pronounce himself when he's there. When he's there, he wants to have a speaker that will do his thing, not a speaker who will do the thing for Ugandans.
Honorable Katuntu, do you imagine, given the tone of the president over the past couple of days, there will be a vibrant 12th parliament, or there will be an intimidated 12th parliament?
I think I have a judicious mind. I don't want to prejudge anybody. Intimidated or a body parliament, we need to give them an opportunity, a benefit of doubt, as they say. These are younger people. Some of them well educated. And I think, let's see, what do you say in the Bible? By their fruits, you will see them. So to me, let's give them an opportunity. And then first of all, they'll have to account. And, time, General Muntu tell us, is the best judge. So it would be unfair to judge these people before they even sit.
Yeah, but how much benefit of doubt would you give them, given the foundation?
There is no foundation we at this point to judge them. This guy is swearing. Let's see how they work, and then we can judge them. Because you see, I can't say when we were there, we are the last kings of Scotland. No. Let these people, we will judge them. And then society gets the leaders it deserves. If they are so bad, then that's what we deserve, because 80% of them were elected. 20% could have used unorthodox means of getting into that house, but 80 were re-elected. So let's see what the people elected. So I don't want to judge them. I want to give them a benefit of doubt.
Yeah, but when the president comes with warnings like, it will be tough if you oppose anything that comes from me, isn't he cowing them?
You engage him. You see, the president has his own ideas, but the Constitution has said there's a people's representative institution which has got to engage with the executive. And in some of these, for example, all the bills come from the executive. They go to the committees, and the committees are supposed to put an input, change them. But the president wants his bills to be passed as they are. It is up to Parliament to improve them. It is up to Parliament to say, sir, you are proposing this, but we think this is in the best interest of the country. I'll give you an example. One of the most controversial pieces of legislation, me and Tinka here, we are very active, the oil and the gas legislations. We sat, and to me, that is the best law I have ever contributed to. Gerard was there. For a whole week, we are sitting up to midnight, 1 a.m., together with Mr. Kalisa, who was the permanent secretary and the minister and so on, to change it. We lost out on clause 9, you remember?
It was clause
9.
8 and 9.
Which gave the minister authority to license. But the rest, we made our input and it literally changed everything. So it is up to these members of parliament, the new ones. Say, Mr. President, on this one, we think we have a different view. And if you stand by it and you have logic, you explain, sometimes they concede.
Yeah, but there's been a notion that the current parliament has caved into the executive. Is there a likelihood that this 12th parliament will stand their ground to check the executive?
Give them a benefit of doubt. Let's see what they do.
Can they succeed where you failed?
Yes, it's possible.
Why did you fail?
It is possible. Or maybe we're not good enough, we couldn't convince. So this is a new parliament, and that's why 58% of the current parliament hasn't come back. Because you people thought these are going to be better members of parliament.
You know, Professor, where I have a problem is that this 58% or 60% you're talking about went to Chankwanzi for an induction. And ordinarily, when you're inducting people, you are telling them this is how the job is done best.
Yes.
And at the turn of events, those that you thought are scoring 40%, you are scoring 40%, you are getting out with 40%. Do you come and chest stamp, we have done a good job? That's where I have a problem.
Thank you. Honorable Payer.
And the government has not fallen, has not gone to the opposition. You get me? And that's why whereas you dismissed me, Senior Adombo, just eat your money and relax. You also know that you are dismissing the views of Honorable Tinka Simile Barnabas, but you know the truth. The reality in Chankwanzi is to rehearse, to maintain that President Museveni continues to be a head of state and subsequently succeeded by his son and have his way in parliament. That is the narrative. And that is what is being achieved as we speak. So these other things, please, whether we talk what, we are just saying, I would not want us to confuse Ugandans. Ugandans have better things to do outside there. They can go and sleep other than listening to what we are discussing.
We'll certainly get back to Honorable Dombo in a few, but Honorable Payer, you went through Chankwanzi. Do you imagine MPs learn anything, or it's just some feasting and getting to know each other? Because when you look at the quality of debate on the floor of Parliament, you would hardly believe that these were inducted MPs.
Thank you. I think we need to appreciate that Parliament, like any other institution, is not homogeneous. Not every member of Parliament will perform at the same level of Honorable Katuntu, for example. When I went to Parliament, the things of the Constitution, the law, they are the lawyers who could do that. So I think the level of participation of members of Parliament, but also the learning, it is, how do I call it? I wouldn't say that I didn't learn anything or those people are not learning anything. Personally, I learned a lot during that retreat. One of the things that stood out for me in that retreat, I remember, we were talking about, there was an issue of how do we reduce the cost of running business. And at that time, there was issue of rationalization. This bill came to Parliament. And because of that understanding that I'd got from that retreat, I remember participating almost really 100% in that particular bill because I'd already got a prior understanding. Then I remember again, there was that issue of ambulances. How can we, discuss how to finance medical referrals in that retreat. And when we came to Parliament, and I was sitting in the budget committee, then I remember that, then that was a time that we would engage, I engaged personally the Ministry of Health, asking questions. We were told that we are going to budget and get money for ambulances. Thank God the ambulances came, although it was not enough, but somehow it came. So I think, as my colleagues are saying, retreats like this has its pros and cons, right?
Thank you. Honorable
Mr. Chair, yes. You see the world all over, you will not have 100% MPs very active.
Yeah.
You always have between 20 to 30% which who drive the House. Yeah. And we are in a very difficult situation as a country. You have
530 something?
529.
29, yeah.
There is no way you have 529 members of parliament to be that active as you would want. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Even on that floor, I have just, my committee amended the rules, and I grappled with one issue. How do I have all the
members of the committee
debate and have an opportunity by rules? It was not possible. This parliament is just too big, just too big. So what you would need, if you can have 50% members of parliament, leadership of committees, people who are very active, who can help their colleagues.
And understand the issues.
And they appreciate the rules, they appreciate policies. Because to make a good members of parliament, in my honest view, one, you must first of all understand the perimeters within which you work. Those are the rules of procedure. Two, you must have capacity to appreciate policy. And then three, you must also be able to negotiate. Parliament is about negotiating positions.
Yeah, but are you alive to the absurdity that you, the crop that would call the galacticos of Parliament, were booted out? So there are quite a number of underdogs in the House. So where are they learning from?
Others will come.
Yeah.
Others will come, really. Others. And let me tell you, I'm not a Muganda, I'm a Namawanga, but the Baganda say, awakule nume, tewakulemu. Others will come. And they'll come and they'll do well. Give them that benefit. They'll come and they'll do well.
Well, you seem to be warming up to replace the Katuntus. But if you were to draft a legislative agenda for the 12th Parliament, what are some of the critical areas that you would never miss?
You see, Simon, if you care about a country like ours, there are those salient issues that are both persistent and contemporary that you must deal with. If you've gone almost every part of this country, I sat on the budget committee, I sat on the public accounts committee for a couple of years, and you could see vividly that, for instance, the health sector, most of it is more sick than the patients. That you go to a hospital in Moroto, and you see the state of the hospital. But you go to these other, the humbler, the lower health facilities, at the sub-county, at the parish level, the health center 2s and 3s. You realize that most of them, even with the new buildings, what we have largely are the structures and a few medical personnel. So you must focus on establishing a national insurance, health insurance scheme.
I thought the political question of the day is transition, which is being peddled by Mao and others. Don't you think it should top the agenda?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, that's another very, very, very critical issue. Because, again, everyone has been saying, look, we've had more or less a one-party state for such a long time. And so isn't it probably the time to discuss the transition? And if this transition has to happen, should it happen in a manner that indeed captures the views of Ugandans by giving opportunity to these members of parliament who largely represent the country? So we have, yes, we have the question of transition. We have the question of the health insurance scheme. We have the question of dealing with unemployment. I can tell you for certainty that unless this country addresses the issue of unemployment, we have a real real crisis in a very, very short period.
So what kind of slate, on which slate is the 12th Parliament beginning?
I hope, again, the leadership of Parliament will give us the opportunity to give our feed-in into what will constitute our legislative agenda. For me, representing the Pofontonga municipality, I would want to see Ugandans, for the first time, establish a national health insurance scheme. Because I know for sure the money, the suffering, the absurdity that Ugandans go through day in, day out. When you go into these hospitals, when you go into these campaigns and you hear how people really speak about this, when you go for burials and you hear people speak about this, you realize that this must be addressed finally. So we need to pick at least 3 or 4 issues, address them, and then people will know that maybe the 12th Parliament was keen. It delivered on health insurance scheme. It delivered on unemployment. I mean, think about it. Isn't it? Why should we be celebrating that the senior 4 graduate is baking cake? That should be probably be done at primary level. That we need to re-engineer, reorganize, refocus our education system so that we create these real jobs here, that we depart from this so much talk for so many years. Wow. And people begin seeing, we begin seeing deliverables. We see deliverables, we see change, we see transformative change. That's what people have been hoping to.
I want to bring in Honorable Dombo. Honorable, why is NRM shying away from taking an audit of the recently held election?
Bwana Sikagwanjala, first and foremost, I want to correct the
Oh, goodness me.
Spirits have refused. He's probably not saying this. He's probably meaning with the truth.
Mr. Njala,
yes.
You see, under a multi-party dispensation, political parties represented in Parliament should be having the question you've been asking, Honorable Dom, the legislative agenda. The official position should have its own legislative agenda. So is the ruling government and other parties.
Yes. Have you seen one from NRM?
No, I have not
It
yet.
has never existed.
So, at that point, all parties come and they start negotiating. And they see where they can find a middle ground on what issues. The Honorable Karanga is talking about the issue of health insurance. Very critical. If, for example, you are Alliance for National Transformation, and that is your priority as a political party, how do you negotiate with the NRM, which is the ruling power, and you actualize the national health insurance? And then, you see, the opposition, and that's where the biggest problem we have, sometimes they talk at government. They don't talk to. Parliament is about talking to each other, trying to convince each other for the common good of the country. I said, can we now rise beyond partisanship? And the issue of health insurance affects a national unity platform supporter equally like a national resistance movement or Alliance for National Transformation supporter. All of us, what is good in the health sector is good for all of us. So that is an issue which should be negotiated between colleagues, members of parliament.
Without political party lines.
Without partisanship.
Well, thank you very much.
But you need an agenda.
I'm glad Honorable Dombo's network is back. Honorable, the issue of the agenda remains a big contention. Has NRM ever drafted a legislative agenda, or you're just doing things knee-jerk?
Honorable Katundu has just told you that they have made laws. If you went to the Parliament of Uganda, they have passed over 200 bills. So over 200 bills cannot be by knee-jerk. I told you that the legislative agenda of a government is highlighted on the first day the president opens up the parliamentary session through the State of the Nation address. It sets the legislative agenda through that discussion. They at times give the number of bills and they name them that will be brought. Then they are followed by the budget, which is the biggest legislation of the year, because the budget is a law, including the relevant tax bills that accompany the revenue and expenditure of a country. Then finally, there may be subsequent legislations coming out from the government of Uganda through the cabinet or through the agencies of government. Or some of the legislation may be through borrowing money to fund the budget. So nobody should be saying to the people that Uganda, we don't have a legislative agenda. We have it. Honorable Katuno has told you the oil, what they did, what they gained, and what they didn't.
The State of the Nation address is soon about to come. Can he really even tell us what the President has told the NRM MPs, what is going to be in his State of the Nation address? Can he tell us what is going to be in his State of the Nation address in the third year, which is told the members of Parliament? This is what they are asking you.
Is that the same question that you have for them?
It is what they are asking him. Tell the Ugandans the legislative agenda of NRM.
Perhaps I need to put
in the first year, in the second year, in the third year, and in the fourth year, in the 5 years.
Honorable Katuntu, yes.
I think the Honorable Dombo is not getting the question. By the time the President comes with the legislative agenda during the State of the Nation address, they have discussed it internally. Because that's the final.
It's not a surprise package.
It isn't. Because you see, members should be able to contribute. By now, the proposal should be there, and Honorable Domba and colleagues should be discussing it, such that by the time the President addresses the country on the state, during the state, what we call a SONA, State of the Nation address, they have had an input. Because this is what consultation is all about.
By the way, the State of the Nation address is picked from the manifesto.
Honorable Dombo is going to respond to all of you.
Just a comment. I think we are discussing a planning issue here.
Yes.
What we see in the legislative agenda for the last 5 years is piecemeal. I think your question is, as a party, do we have a long-term 5-year, it could be a draft, 5-year legislative agenda, which then informs the yearly legislative agenda, which can be reviewed and presented to
you know
the
why
country.
we are putting you on the spotlight? There is an NRM manifesto. It is already known. Why is it that we do not know the agenda in that NRM manifesto?
Let's take it to a...
must not, I think what you people in Chankwanz must not miss are the views, the concerns Ugandans have raised during these campaigns. Because you see, you have an opportunity that immediately after this process, now you are convening to draw the agenda for the 5 years that you'd want to see run this country as the main or the majority party. We've just seen a crisis where, in the process of trying to clean the towns, we've kicked out most of the humbler young men, young women, old women, who have been trying to earn something small.
Who received the PDM.
Now, these people, most of them have small loans. So you would want to see these fellows say, look, we have an issue. Can we, for instance, expand the small business fund and increase this fund?
Honorable Dombo,
increase this fund so that...
Your plate is full. Over to you, sir.
He needs to address these issues. You need to hear Ugandans out through these members.
Sure. Okay, let's allow him to respond.
Bwana Kagwanjala, I was in the parliament for 20 years. I have seen what happens in America, what happens in the UK, and what happens in modern legislations. I appeal to my brothers, let them teach the people or the public what exactly happens. We have an objective in the manifesto The other accompanying documents like the development plan, the legislative agenda is derived from the plans that we have, but the real document of the legislative agenda is given by the head of state through the SONA. In that SONA, the president even comes out with the bills.
How is it generated, Honorable Dombo? How is it generated and who generates it?
And Honorable
The ministers,
yes.
If you really care about Ugandans, which I believe you do, really, don't you want to hear out these members and ask them, look, what were the salient issues? What really pained Ugandans during these campaigns? Can that constitute what will be our legislative agenda as a party? Don't you want to focus on that?
Continue. You may continue, Honorable Dombo.
No, he is still believing in that surprise.
Instead of cooling off, having a cool off and
let's allow him
interaction.
respond. Let's allow him respond. Yes.
you know that the rules of parliament prevent speculation. We cannot speculate during legislation. Government can initiate a bill, they go to cabinet. Once the bill has been generated, it can be brought to the caucus of the party, and then it is discussed.
Hearing out representatives cannot be speculation. Hearing out representatives of the people cannot be speculation.
The expressions of government, we already have them in the manifesto, in the development plan, and the other documents that form what government intends to do. But when it comes to what we want to make law, we don't come, the ministers of cabinet will go to cabinet, generate a cabinet paper, and once that cabinet paper is formed into a bill, that bill can come to the caucus of parliament for the members to discuss. It's not the other way around.
Honorable Dombo, is it in error that among the objects of this retreat, you have somewhere something to do with the legislative agenda? So what are you discussing?
You see that
cooling off, maybe. That's why interaction said they are interacting.
Kagwanjala, I have told you what we are discussing. Unless you want us to discuss what you think. We have published what we are discussing. We have just given the papers what we are discussing. The head of state came and addressed and was live on the media on what we are discussing. We are looking at the priorities of government, including the priorities of the budget. Why should members of parliament go and support the budget? What are the priorities of government? All these have been discussed, and they constitute part of the legislative agenda derived from the manifesto of the party.
So are you just going to impose a legislative agenda onto the MPs without them processing it?
And maybe if I may add,
how are bills generated?
You need to hear out these members. You see, members of parliament are going to pass these loans, for instance, because no international body or even a local body is going to lend any money to government without a decision of parliament. Now, why don't you want to ask these members of parliament the real concerns of the people, so that as you draw your legislative agenda, you appreciate that even when we are passing these loans, these are the priorities. For instance, people need markets in these urban centers.
Well,
or tax back
let's ask him a very simple question. Can he tell us the cost of the NR manifesto? Tell the Ugandans the cost of that book, which you have, such that in the 5 years, Ugandans can expect, because you have to raise the money for tax.
We are talking to the MPs elect. The members of parliament are there in the studio. What are they discussing? Why don't they go ahead to discuss those issues? They're asking me. For that we're inducting new members of parliament.
Because you're going for
I'm not part of the retreat, sir. I am going to my farm, and I'm only asking you the 5 years of that manifesto. What is the cost of that document you have handed over to the members of parliament? You refuse to disclose the laws that are going to come each year in the 5 years. You refuse to disclose it. At least tell us the cost of that manifesto.
That is not how things are done. Hey, this document is going to be costed every year. There is the medium term, there is the longer term, But every year,
So each year you rent our
Honorable Nombo, what are these MP elects doing in Chankwanzi?
They are being deducted.
I told you.
Induction, what are you inducting them on?
And what will Parliament do as a representation?
On the rules of procedure, on how Parliament does its work, on the priorities of government, and other issues that have been, outlined in the program of induction.
Okay. I think Simon, on this one.
Is this induction or misinduction?
It is.
I think the Honorable Emmanuel Dombo has taken a debate purely as a debate. I thought he would be having a conversation where he can enrich his process and he picks ideas from us. In the US, elections are held almost 3 months before the new term comes in. And once a president has been elected, he is there, is the head of state, he has all the powers, but he consults the president-elect, literally major on the bigger decisions. Today, we are a parliament in transition. The members elect have got a right, really, to influence what this current parliament is doing. And the outgoing. The outgoing.
Right.
And one of the opportunities they have is this one. Because one, we are going to decide on the budget, which they are going to run on for the whole year, effective June. Here they have a right and an opportunity to say, you people, you are going to do this. We don't want to reach there and try to change what you guys have done. You have to work together. So to say, look, it is this current parliament doing that, these ones will come in until, I think that is wrong. So my own view, Mr. Njala, is for Emmanuel to appreciate that the members elect in Chankwan should have got a big responsibility. One, and an obligation to know what is going on and also to make a contribution during this time when the current parliament still has the powers, especially in the process of the budget, because we are going to allocate resources.
Well, as we take a break, how do you view Chankwanzi in the construct of parliament? Is it disruptive or constructive?
It should be complementary. In my view, it should be complementary.
Yeah, but over the years,
it has had its own challenges, I must say, because the most controversial decisions have been taken in Parliament. Sorry, in Chankwas, or they have originated in Chankwas. Once they have been endorsed in Chankwas, Parliament has sort of
rubber stamped
endorsed them. And that's where the problem is.
However,
in my view, all parties in Parliament should have an opportunity to caucus, to retreat, to reflect over business. They are going to get involved, and Chankwanzi should be an opportunity. The only thing I don't agree with, that Chankwanzi should just remain the ruling party, you know, for all parties should have an opportunity.
In a minute, as we prepare to take a break, do you find Chankwanzi disruptive or constructive towards Parliament?
You know, we have the NRM caucus, and you can be even taken to the conference center of the president's office here and given that orientation. Taking them to a place that is similar to a military organization, because when you go there, the people you find on the quarter guard are army men. They direct you where to. Actually, they send you in buses. For us, we refused that thing, but nevertheless, they would tell us where to park, and we would park very far. Then to leave for any engagement, you must get a special permission That type of an environment, with already what I have told you. My first experience there, I was very innocent. I knew I had come to make a contribution. Little did I know that I had come to be coerced into a particular direction.
Thank you.
Not in the direction of the people of Buyaga West.
Do you find Chankwanzi constructive or disruptive?
I think Chankwanzi and any other retreats for any other institution should be an informative kind of approach that enriches the participants to be able to constructively and actively participate in whatever space that they are. And so for me, it's really informative, it's necessary, and as my colleagues have said, all other parties, all institutions should always have a retreat.
No, without should. Is Chankwanzi
yes, I
disruptive
find
or constructive?
it is very informative and very constructive, if you want me to use your
What
word.
do you think of Chankwanzi?
Chankwanzi, ordinarily, I think it has emerged to be a center of controversies. Ordinarily would have imagined that in the spirit of institutional building, building parties is one of the most critical aspects of democracy, because then parties begin giving the very goodness that they have internally to the nation. Now, when we increasingly and sadly consistently make these engagements like that are happening, for instance, like what's transpiring in Chankwanzi right now, we make them more or less a center of trivial issues, controversies, and now Honorable Dombo says, oh, this is a time for cooling off, to know each other, and for heaven's sake, Ugandans have very depressing challenges.
We'll
so
take
these
a
must be
very
addressed.
short break, and when we return, Honorable Dombo will have a chance to respond to some of the issues that have been raised by the panelists. We'll be back.
NBS Frontline. In a digital world, not everything is what it seems. False stories today spread faster than truth, leaving us all wondering what's real. Disinformation misleads, misinformation misguides, and spreads confusion and fear. Dismiss, a campaign to help you think critically, question wisely, and verify thoroughly. Join us. Let's build a more informed Uganda, one truth at a time. Dismiss, inquire, verify.
Places in the continent of Africa where the intention
Rise professionally. Don't miss out. See you there.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama kabalansi? Eh? Ah, nkuwaire nkumi itaano ate. Mama, nkuwaire nkumi itaano. Abantu abakulu mwatandise obuyaayi mwena. Obuyaayi obuliga. Iwe. Ngobi yankoba. Aba mu bibozi. Sente dange nizade kolera ngobi nankolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo. Across Uganda, the parish development model is paving the way for prosperity, helping families transform their lives through strategic farming practices, like the 4-acre model.
In our Chibaro of 1996, we said first acre, put coffee. Second acre, fruits. The third acre, you put pasture for dairy cows. The fourth acre, for food, cassava. The good thing is that now cassava is also becoming a very good cash product, but at least for food. Then, mind you, the backyard. You put poultry for eggs, you put piggery.
I'm in a 1 acre plot of land. In this 1 acre, Your Excellency, I practice this banana plantation. I also practice coffee. I also have dairy, Your Excellency. Every month, Your Excellency, I get 500,000 from these bunches.
The 7 activities we recommended, they have a big global demand.
We have 10,000 Nile tilapia fish and 10,000 African catfish. And when we sell our 10,000 tilapia, we get in one harvest 20 million shillings.
Fruits, especially capsule, which is cold, can do very high value crops like apples. And then finally, those who are near the wetlands, like the ones in the Bukit who are wasting the wetlands, they should do fish farming, not in the center of the swamp, but at the edge of the swamp.
From coffee farms to fish ponds, the 4-acre model is empowering Ugandans to transform their lives. The parish development model is your pathway to wealth creation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Breaking now. Now Post delivers Uganda's fastest, accurate news as it happens. From hard-hitting headlines to exclusive interviews, we bring details of stories everyone is talking about. Accurate, fast, and balanced. Get every update at nowpost.co.ug. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and never miss a moment. The Now Post. Accurate news, fast.
The world is going digital and creativity is no longer just a passion, it's a pathway. Next Creator is building dignified job opportunities for young people by turning creativity into real careers. It's about more than just content, it's about learning digital skills that lead to sustainable income, branding yourself with confidence, understanding influence and the digital economy. Next Creator equips young creators with the tools they need to grow, adapt, and thrive in a fast-changing world. If you want to turn your ideas into opportunities, if you want to make creativity work for you, this is where you start. Next Creator, your skills, your future, your opportunity.
NBS Frontline.
Welcome back to the Frontline as we dig deep into what the NRM MP's retreat in Chankwanzi means to Parliament as the 12th Parliament prepares now to start business. Honorable Dombo is still with us online to share with us and to respond to some of the issues that are being raised by the panelists in the studio. Honorable Dombo, over to you.
Why are you angry?
Thank you very much, Bwana Kagwanjala. I know we are coming towards the end of this program, but I want the public to appreciate that we are not taking the new members of parliament through a marathon. They have a whole 5 years through which to be engaging with the party in order to appreciate the issues from their constituencies, to integrate them together with the national policies, and also turn them into plans through the national budgets. This is a process of transition. We have an outgoing parliament that is going to pass the current budget. And we have a coming parliament that will be supervising and overseeing government in the implementation of the budget, even when they have not been involved through the budget-making process. Progressively, the new members of parliament will be brought on board to understand how budgets are generated. That's one of the things they look through today. To understand how the oversight is done, and also to do a mid-term review immediately this budget is done, but they will also begin with the policy statements of the ministries, which are going to be produced, and many members of parliament will have an opportunity to go through. This transition will enable them to appreciate even when we have the outgoing ones going. So we don't want to blame now, but for us as a party, it was our responsibility to bring them, prepare them, and indicate to them what they are likely to go through. The members of parliament are going to go through the official induction for a full week by the Parliament of Uganda. The clerk to parliament already gave them that program, which they are going to follow soon after they have done all this. After they have done that, they are going to constitute parliament, convene parliament, and the first business is going to be the election of the speaker and deputy speaker. Once that one is done, they are also going to elect the committees of parliament. Once those committees are done, they will be inducted even through their committees to appreciate what is supposed to be done. And we believe when they are perhaps 1 year in parliament, they will be ready to go through the marathon that people want them to do. But I want to tell you that once as a party, we are very satisfied with what we have done. We thank the national chairman who enabled and got us resources to do this exercise, which we are supposed to do to our parties. I wish to call on the other parties also to do the same, but also in future to come and visit NRM induction and retreats if they can be invited, for them to appreciate the business that takes place. Honorable Mao has been our guest. He should be able to go and tell the other parties from the opposition what exactly happens in Changwanzi, what business is supposed to be done, and we believe that the priorities of government which were given by His Excellency, the President, that are going to be given by the Minister for Finance and any other officials from government who have been invited, they are going to form a very strong basis for members of parliament to begin their business on a positive note.
What are the chances, because there is already this sense of premonition that probably Changwanzi could deliver another controversial decision from NRM this time?
There is no decision whatsoever that is going to be taken about the elections, about who must be elected. The national chairman guided that once the members of parliament have been sworn in and they are ready to do the job, he is going to convene the organs of the party in order to take them through his thinking and the decision of the Central Executive Committee.
Thank you, thank you,
then,
thank you.
Only then that the national chairman is going to guide and tell the members on what they are supposed to do, and they're also giving their views as and when it becomes necessary.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dombo. I must let you off, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Honorable Tinka, in just a couple of minutes, what are your hopes and fears in the coming days as the retreat continues? He's the chairman of the NRM.
He's thanking him for finding the resources. The resources, I don't think that it is coming from these small contributions we have been making of 200,000 per month, because we exhausted that. We paid the flag bearers some money. This must be coming from somewhere. So this sponsor has an agenda. He wants to achieve in Changwanzi. It is what I am fearing.
Do you see anything good?
The three things I told you about, either somebody coming up and saying we have spoken to God, President Museveni should continue living up to when humanly it is not possible, and continue being a head of state. Two, in the circumstances that it is not possible, then his son should come. I am expecting it. Then the issue of the, even if he's evading it, the issue of the speaker. Because what is going on down there, even when we are not there, we know what is going on. We have relatives who are handling these people. They are telling us what is being discussed. What is being discussed is not what is in class.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Katuntu, any hopes or fears in the coming days?
No, the issue of the speaker is quite critical. It may not be on the agenda, but I think now that all these MPs are together, and they're the biggest caucus.
There's lobbying, eh?
There's lobbying, and I think it's now the hottest political potato going on and so on. Of course, the Onomao has thrown a spanner in the works by even walking in there to give his own analogy of being a visitor invited by the father, and then you start quarreling with the kids on which bed you also want to sleep on. So they are going to have a lot of.
And on the other side, they are telling him he's going overboard. He's entering the bedroom.
Yes, and he's like, no, I am here after all. Yeah, but I think that issue is there. Though, from what I read, he seems to be a minority voice then, as of now. The incumbents still are far ahead of him.
Things could flip.
Well, it's possible in politics, but as of now, the incumbents seem to be far ahead of him. But the most important thing is you cannot be a political party and you just walk into parliament without coming together. Caucus in itself, we need to look at it positively. People coming together and say, look, what are we going to do? Who are you?
Yeah, but why the cynicism? Why the cynicism?
That's the question. Why the cynicism is because Ugandans really, they have lost confidence in us, the political class. Every time people come together, they think we are conspiring, and so on. So
because that's what normally comes out.
So
we conspire against the people.
So we need now to do an introspection. How do we clean up and give our people confidence that when we come here, it's for the good of the country, it's for the good of the party? Because from the debate going on, including on this particular show, you could see that there's some conspiracy. There is a conspiracy. And if there is no conspiracy, we shall create one. That's the problem. So, one, MPs, and I encourage all political parties, the National Unity Platform actually was the first. You remember they went to somewhere, is it Busabala?
Yes, they went to Busabala.
Yeah, they went there. Unfortunately, the debate wasn't as hot as it is today.
It was just a day.
The Democratic Party is in trouble because the president is this side.
And he's putting on the tag of NRM.
And then the members are the other side.
Yeah, because they're in a sort of a marriage.
No, who is in sort of a marriage?
DP and NRM, so maybe he's representing.
Okay, why aren't the members of elect of DP in Chankwanzi? It is on the president. And it has been a little bit difficult for us who've been seated, and then you see the president is seated on the other side, then his members are seated on the opposite. I don't know whether you see the very difficult position. You stand up, you are part of government, and your own members are part of the opposition.
Honorable Agnes, do you share any fears or hopes in Chankwanzi over the coming days?
I'm always a very optimistic person. And I hope that this 1 week in Chankwanzi lays a good foundation. And hopefully, the members of parliament there takes advantage to understand the critical areas of the NRM party and the key thematic things that the party is going to look at. Particularly, I hope that they really understand the message on the economy that the president is talking about. The issue of mobilizing the citizens of this country to be in the market economy. The issue of making the citizens of this country productive and be able to sell a good or a service. the issue of affordable access to capital. PDM is little and it has all its flaws and all that. But if my hope is that members of parliament understand that particular direction, or that they, but my fears though, I have this fear that I hope that members of parliament do not have very high expectations of how they are going to change everything, because we have been there. And I fear that they need to seriously think how they are going to translate some of these big, the manifesto, the NDP3, the budget, into results that puts money in the pocket of our people, provide the medicine, have the teachers in the classroom and all. That is really my biggest.
Thank you. Honorable Karuhanga, what are your fears? Do you have any hopes anyway?
Well, I hope that they could focus on deliverables for the 12th Parliament. That probably for the first time this nation can see a national health insurance scheme. But probably the issue of unemployment can be strongly and seriously addressed. And all these other issues that are really, really concerning or impacting on Ugandans. My concern though, reading what we are seeing, it will just be very disheartening again to Ugandans. Having had an opportunity to interact with the leaders they have elected for months, hoping that maybe this time round there can be some more focus on issues that really, really disturb them. If this continues, then we may see a prevalent clutter of engagement for another maybe 1 week. Resources and time probably wasted. But we just hope that this engagement we've had today and other engagements Ugandans are doing on social media.
Have the first 3 days thrown you any signals?
The first 3 days so far seem to be saying that they are here, there, and largely almost doing what we are going to be doing during orientation in Parliament. So, and I'm saying, look, I thought the party would be focused on what the citizens or members of the party are concerned about right now, that they really highlighted during campaigns. So, right now, I'm beginning to see that. I mean, if you go through what exactly Parliament is going to do, then isn't that a lost opportunity for building on our democracy that we would love to see as a country?
Pleasure having all of you, ladies and gentlemen, honorable legislators, and definitely the conversation continues on all our socials. We are asking, could the NRM retreat in Chankwanzi set the new tone, or rather the tone for the new parliament as they prepare to be sworn in come next month? Have a lovely night. God bless you.